Hey everybody, we're back again with a Notch Higher Living YouTube channel, and we're going over again the power of the other, and I will be going over corner number 1, which is disconnected, no connection. So if you saw the previous video, if you haven't, you can take a look at the previous channel about the overview about the book, The Power of the Other, and I'm going to go over each corner. So there are 4 corners, and in this segment it's going to be disconnected and no connection. So I'm going to jump right into what this corner number 1 looks like and give a description of it. And no better description is perfect for this than to go right into the book on page 38, and it's going to be 38 and 39 that I'm reading from. So for corner number 1, disconnected, no connection, it says corner number 1, the corner of disconnection, does not mean that you might not be a people person, nor does it necessarily mean that you don't have people in your life that you might not be helping a lot of others. Lots of people in corner 1 seem to be people persons and constantly helping others. But it does mean that it's all coming from you. You might be giving to others and having a lot of others around you, but you are not connecting to them so that there is anyone that is there for you in the deepest ways that you need them. There's a recipe, or this is a recipe for burnout and diminished or limited performance at best, and failing or derailing at worst. So do you want to know how you're doing if you're in corner 1? And here are some signs to look at or look out for. So the author provides clinical signs, and it includes increased stress, lower energy levels, concentration and motivation, problem sleeping, lower libido, increased fear and anxiety, and increased levels of suspicion, distrust, and resentment, and a loss of hope and purpose. So that's a clinical factor. And some relational factors are not feeling as connected to others as you once did, even at home, in your personal life, and there's more isolation, disattachment from those you care about most. There could be even conflicts with those you're close to, a shortness of temper, a lack of patience, anger, or just not wanting to be involved or around others. It also says a loss of interest in relationship, in being with people, and a disappointment with relationship itself, and a fear and a feeling of just being cut off. So that's a relational sign to look for. And then finally, there are performance signs, and it shows not getting the results you need and feeling as if it all depends upon you to do so, not being able to get on top of it all, procrastination, disorganization, a lack of clarity about goals, feeling bogged down by tasks someone else should be doing, and a diminished focus. So a diminished focus. So these are some signs to look out for if you're in corner number 1. Now, I don't want to make it more complicated than what it is. So again, I'm reading directly from the book, because one thing about this portion for me is that it really stood out that being in corner number 1, being in a corner of disconnection or no connectedness, it does not mean that you don't have a lot of people around you, or that you're not a people person. And when I thought about that, I realized there was a time in my life, and I had a segment in my life that it was just like this. I had a lot of people, and I was around so many different people. But one thing that really stood out to me is that I was always doing. I didn't ask any other people if they wanted me to do that, but that's where I felt from a space of where I thought that I needed to interact or show up in people's world. So being in corner one with being disconnected or no connection, it does not mean that you're isolated in an island and you don't have any people around you. It's the quality and the connection that you are allowing other people to come into your world. So again, when I was out there helping other people, I was giving, 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 like the author said. But what I wasn't doing was allowing people to in turn give to me. I thought I had to be the giver in order to be valued or be of value in the relationship. And it was interesting because I really did. I got to a level and a point of burnout. I remember a time where I'll never forget this because I was in the bed and I literally could not get up. It wasn't even that I was too tired. My body literally was exhausted from doing so much, and it just sat there and I laid there and I just had to lay because I was so overwhelmed and so on doing mode that my body just, it was almost like it just said, I'm not going today. I don't care what you have to do, but I'm stopping. And when I look at corner number 1 of that disconnectedness, and initially I thought it would be like, oh yeah, no, I have people around me. It's not the quantity of people that you have around you that make you connected or disconnected. It's the quality of connectedness that I have with people. So as I've even been thinking about this personal journey that I have and being in corner number 1, I realize that it's so easy to be a giver and it's so easy to be the person who's doing for others. But it takes a level of trust and vulnerability to allow people, maybe not everyone, but to allow people to give into to in turn give to me, because it takes vulnerability and humility actually to accept that I need other people, because there is an ego that comes into saying like, oh no, I'm good, I need to help other people, I don't need help. But there's also a lack of security, an insecurity that comes thinking that, you know, I'm not worthy of help, or people may think that I'm being too needy if I ask for help. And those are some ideas or some things that I thought about that caused me sometimes not to ask for help. Um, there could be other reasons and a variety of other things that come up with you personally. But what I want us to realize is that being in this corner of disconnection and no connection, that's what leads us to burnout. That's what leads us to make decisions. And I want to read something else from the book. It says it's a model of a closed system. That people or leadership does exactly what all closed systems do. And what happens is when we are in a closed system, really things get worse over time because we don't have a point of reference of other new information. And it's not to say that we can't think on ourselves or for ourselves and on our own, but what it does say and what happens is that if we can always only be the person who makes the decisions, we're only seeing one perspective on one side. Or if we're always the one giving help and always the one who's looking out for the other person and rejecting or um, resisting assistance, we're no longer in a connected relationship with people. It's only one-sided. So the four corners, again, we're on the first corner and it's disconnected and no connection. So I want you to think this week, how are you looking to others, or are you looking to others to help you and not staying in a corner that causes you to be around a lot of people but not connected truly, where people are pouring into you as you're pouring into them. So I really want to encourage you, as I'm going on this journey as well, to be a person who receives and who has a humility to receive the help and vulnerability to receive the help of other people. I'm doing it as well, and I appreciate that the author is taking us through these points. So what we're going to do next week, we're going to go to corner number 2, and it's called the bad connection. So until then, I want you to be the best person that you can be. And remember that you're more important than what you do. Who you are is much more important. So allow other people to get to know you, and have a great week. Thanks.